lately I have been thinking about the concept of life and death, especially after the story I read today. It's about a man in India who died and woke up just while he was about to be cremated. It just makes me wonder, just what is the point of life? Why do we live and why do we die? Why why is there something that science is yet to uncover regarding life and death? And why is it that someone who's assumed to be dead, someone who's been pronounced dead, could come back to life and still have a memory and recollection of the events that led to their demise? It's something that I myself have been wondering. Just what is the purpose of life and what is the purpose of death? This man in India, he woke up just while he was about to be cremated. And it's just like, life is a journey that unfolds from birth to death. It's a path filled with experiences, relationships, and personal growth. It's often marked by joy and sorrow, challenges, and moments of triumph. People seek meaning and purpose in life, which is influenced by their beliefs, cultural backgrounds, and personal values. Beliefs act as a compass, shaping decisions, behavior, and how individuals view the world. For instance, believing in kindness fosters compassion, while faith in resilience nurtures perseverance. Death, on the other hand, is the inevitable end of life. And it begs the question, is death truly the end of life or a continuation of life? And when we die, what happens to our body? Where do we go? Do people still have memory of the life they lived after they die? And if they do not have that memory, what is the purpose of living? If all you do, all the memories you've gathered, starts and ends right here. So this is why I just wanted to make this. I decided to come on live tonight. I'm bored. I'm not a live person, but sometimes I have so many thoughts. I think about a whole lot of things I want to talk about, and then I say, you know what? Let's just think about it for a second, So death, like I said, is inevitable. It's a mystery that has fascinated and frightened humanity for ages. Different cultures and religions provide varied interpretations of death. Some see it as a transition to another existence, while others regard it as the end of consciousness. And like I said, death is probably a continuation of life, depending on how you look at it. Death is not necessarily the disappearance or the expiration of one. It could also be a continuation to another side of life. So these perspectives influence how people live, whether through striving to leave a legacy, achieving enlightenment, or preparing for an afterlife. So the idea of an afterlife is deeply rooted in human history and belief system. Some envision heavenly realms, reincarnation, or spiritual liberation, while others perceive it as a metaphor for the memories and impact we leave behind. Some people also have near-death experiences, like the man in India who woke up just while he was about to be cremated. And there are some who have been reported to have seen vivid sensations of peace, bright light, or encounters with loved ones, further fueling speculation about life beyond death. And it begs more question. What happens before you die? Do you know that you're going to die? Do you have this sense of feeling that, hey, I am going to die and this is what I'm expected or how I'm expected to feel? Is there something that happens? I mean, I've read books, I've listened to people, I've had stories of events where people say they see a flash of bright light before they die, and some people just don't feel anything. I'll give you an example, a personal story. Many years ago, I remember I was very young, probably around, I'm pretty sure I was less than 13 years old, right around there. I was very sick. I wasn't hospitalized. I was in school, but I was running temperature. So my principal told my mom to come get me, that I was very sick and that I needed to see a doctor. So my mom left work, came, and then picked me up. So while we left the school, we're standing in front of this bus stop waiting for the bus. So the next thing was I fainted. I mean, that's what I could remember. I mean, this happened many, many years ago, right? This probably happened over 20 something years ago. But I fainted. I passed out. And before I passed out, I don't remember feeling any pain. I don't remember feeling like I was going to pass out. I simply just passed out. It was just the absence of nothing, right? You just fizzle away. It was as if you're going to sleep, but in broad daylight, but on the highway. It was as if like all your body was lifted away from you. You just slumped. It's like a piece of cloth dropping. I can't explain it enough. I can't describe it enough, but that's really how I felt at that moment. So I just passed out just like that. And while I was passed out, I don't remember dreaming. I don't remember hearing anyone. I don't remember connecting with anybody. I don't remember talking to anybody. Nothing. It was just total silence. It was black, pitch black, nothing. Memory paused. Everything paused. I don't know if I was breathing. I don't know if I wasn't breathing, but it was just total silence, right? And then after that, I remember waking up. Between the time I passed out and the time I woke up, to me, it seemed like 5 minutes. It seemed very, very quickly. But my mom told me that I've been passed out for over 30 minutes, right? So time seemed to stop when you're no longer there, basically. It seemed like either time was too short or too long. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this, but I'm just trying to picture what could have, how I understood it then, although it's been a long time, but that memory never left me. So now when I was revived, my mom was telling me that I had passed out for over 30 minutes. People were pouring water on me and this and that and blah, 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 right? So, but the reason why I shared this story is just to, talk about like, what happens? People have different experiences when obviously passing out seemed like you're dead. Passing out seems like a near-death experience. What if I didn't wake up? That would have been it, right? That would have been that someone fainted and they never woke up. And there have been cases where people faint and they don't wake up, right? And they just die and that's it. Or maybe they rush them to the hospital and doctor pronounced them dead officially. So that's really what I felt could be, although it wouldn't represent a lot of people's experiences, but that's one of the ways how it feels, So in the case of the man who was, this story I'm still talking about, this man who was, who was pronounced dead at hospital, family prepared for his funeral, everybody was aware that he was dead, heart stopped, everything, nothing was working in him. He was dead, cold, gone, right? But then tell me why he was all of a sudden awake. He was just about to be cremated. If he had waited a few more minutes, he would have been gone completely, right? He would have, even if, of course, you wouldn't wake up while you're being cremated. Or it would have been a horrifying scene, hearing someone crying while being cremated. But this is really what it was. He just woke up, right? So, whether a person believes in eternal soul, a cycle of rebirth, a simple cherished, moment, these views influence the legacy and connection with others. So life and death are actually very connected. They are intertwined. They teach us to embrace existence fully while contemplating what may lie behind or beyond, urging us to live meaningfully and authentically. But it still doesn't answer the question, what is the purpose of life if all you do is die? If that's really why you're here, it's just You're just here to live and die. So this man's name is Rohitash Kumar. Kumar is a 25-year-old man from Rajasthan, India. It reminds us how fragile and unpredictable life can be. Rohitash fell sick with a high fever, just like me, like I narrated, and was taken to the hospital where doctors mistakenly, so now they are calling it a mistake. He was mistakenly declared dead. Was it a mistake or was he truly dead? I don't know. Are they calling it a mistake because it's impossible to die and wake up? Or are they saying that he was dead as at the time he was checked? Because those are two different things, right? It's okay to try to clean up that medical error and say, oh, maybe there was a mistake. What if there was no mistake? What if he died? What if he truly died? By all medical terms, he was dead, and then he woke up. Because saying that it was a mistake means that the medical practitioners made a mistake. What if there was no mistake, right? So they said he was mistakenly declared dead. His grieving family prepared to say their final goodbye by performing his last rites on a funeral pyre. That's an Indian thing. But just as they were about to light the fire, something extraordinary happened. Rohitash began breathing heavily, showing signs of life. His family, shocked and overwhelmed, stopped the ceremony immediately and rushed him back to the hospital. There, doctors confirmed he was alive. And with proper care, he started recovering. The miraculous event left his family and community in awe, reminding everyone of the fine line between life and death. So, again, this is where it gets complicated because I believe there's life, I believe there's death, I believe there's medical mystery, and I also believe that it is possible that two truths can exist. It is possible that he died when they said he died, and it's also possible that he woke up, which then makes us question, is it really possible for someone to die and wake up? Because medically, we understand that when you're dead, all your organs stop working. The first thing that starts to decompose is the brain, right? The brain starts to break down. The body starts to rot from the inside. You know, the muscles start to break down. A whole lot of processes happen in the body, even within the first 24 hours of death. So how would it be a mistake if he wasn't breathing when he was taken to the hospital, when the doctors pronounced him that he wasn't breathing heavily? And then all of a sudden he started breathing just while he was about to be cremated. Do you see that? So, I mean, these are just my views. It's not really, it's not what happened. It's just how I'm just trying to make sense of this. So, the story teaches us that life is precious and unpredictable. It also reminds us of the importance of hope and thorough care. Rohitash's survival shows that even in moments of despair, unexpected miracles can occur. That is exactly the word. It was a miracle. It was a miracle because there's no other way. There's nothing else to qualify it as. He died. I'm pretty sure the medical professional certified him. He died by medical standard. He died, right? But then he also woke up. He became alive. Whatever happened between the period he died, or was he in coma? How did he survive outside coma? Was he put in a refrigerator? Was his body frozen before funeral? I don't know all the whole process of Indian funeral rites, but just thinking out loud, how quickly was he pronounced dead before he was taken for cremation? So anyway, the incident at the same time raises serious concerns about medical errors. Declaring someone dead without proper checks can have devastating consequences. The suspension of the doctors involved serve as a reminder of the responsibility that comes with caring for others. So the doctors were suspended. They were suspended with the, saying that it was a medical error. Well, what do you make of this? Hi guys, I see people joining us. It was just me rambling tonight. I see a couple of people listening. I'd like for you to drop your comments and let me know what you think of this story. What I'm talking about, for those who just joined us, is the concept of life and death. What is the whole point? And is it possible that someone who was pronounced dead could wake up without, it's not a prayer thing, it's not a fasting thing, it's not, is it a miracle or was it a medical error? Because medically, if you call it a medical error, then it means that he was alive all throughout. But then, was he really alive all throughout for his family to try to cremate him? Or was he dead at some point and then woke up at another point? Is it possible that these two truths can exist? If it happened in that fashion, then there was no point for the doctors to be dismissed or suspended or whatnot, because they were right at some point, but something in between happened and brought this man back to life. Okay, so Rohita's story highlights the delicate balance between life and death. It teaches us to value every moment, appreciate our loved ones, and remain hopeful even in the darkest times. Life is a gift, and miraculous revival reminds us of the endless possibilities it holds. So, ask that for this story tonight. I've just been thinking about it. I've just been trying to make sense of the whole thing. This is not the first time I'm hearing this kind of story. There has been different stories. There was a story I narrated in 2020. It was about a man who said he died, and then he made headlines. He was pronounced dead. He came in for a broken, was it a broken arm, an injury, something I can't remember. I don't have my notes here, but he came in for a medical, just something simple. But then when the doctor injected him just to be able to operate on that arm, he passed out. He said he died. He was gone. He said he saw a bright light hit his face. And then he saw his body elevating, just like you see in the movie, where the body elevates and then looks at the human remain. I mean, should I say the soul elevates and then look at the body lying on the hospital bed. So he left. He was standing way above himself, looking down at the doctors operating on him. So, I mean, I'm going to find this man's this story so you guys can read it. But it was pretty interesting because truly the doctors also confirmed that, you know, he was truly dead, right? So while they were trying to revive him, the man said that he was in this beautiful place full of flowers. It was just so beautiful. It felt peaceful. Everything looked so nice. Everything felt so good. And then he remembers, I don't know, he saw his children or somebody, relative. It was just all kinds of stories that he kinds of experiences. But then he came back to himself. It seemed like somebody sent him back. Somebody, a relative or somebody, told him to go back. And then he woke up. And he swore by it. And what was interesting is that when I narrated this story on YouTube many years ago, the man came to the video and made a comment. Made a comment and said, I don't know how the video got to him. I think he said it was Michael Murray. I'm remembering that story now. I think it's the Michael Murray Afterlife. I think that's what it is. Yep. See, I was right. I think that's his name, or maybe not. Something Murray something. But anyway, so that's really, the story of, what happened to this man. A lot of these things happen so much in India, and it makes you wonder if it is just, one of those medical errors, or if it is just one of those things that happen, the unexplainable. I believe that life is full of mystery. There's so many mysterious things, so many mysterious events. We're surrounded by lots of events. We're surrounded by mysteries, things that we can't explain. Things happen. It doesn't happen for any reason. It just happens. You can't define it. You can't place any purpose to it. It just happens. So, and I believe this type of issues And it brings me to the next question. Is it possible that people who were pronounced dead at some point and then they were buried, not the ones that were cremated, the buried ones. Now follow me here. They were buried and then they woke up in the grave. Think about it. Think about the fear, the panic, the fact that you're buried alive. It feels like you're buried alive now. And you can't do anything about it. You can't scream. You can't call for help. And you're just there. And eventually, you kick and scream and kick because you can't lift the heap of sand on top of the coffin you are buried in. Your family has left. They've left the funeral ground. They're already there. You know, they're gone. The funeral is over. They are home mourning you. But you're buried deep down. And you woke up magically in the middle of whenever. And you can't get out. So now you're dying for the second time. Can you imagine how terrifying that is? So now you're dying for the second time. But this time around is painful. It's probably more painful than the first one, because the first one, you probably passed away in your sleep. You probably slumped like I did that year. You probably was in the hospital during a medical treatment or surgery, and then boom, you were gone. You simply slipped away peacefully. But now you wake up, and this time around is not peaceful, because you're trying to claw yourself out, but you can't. So you now die of suffocation, fear, panic, and that's it. And nobody ever get to know. Nobody ever get to know what happened to you. Your family go on to think that you died peacefully in a hospital. But here you are, fighting in a coffin. You can't get out. That's a very weird way to end it all. But so, in as much as we're thinking about people going to heaven, coming down, think about people who actually died and then woke up, but now they're either frozen to death or they're buried alive. And they're, hi Uche, how are you? Who's that calling me Mr. Kobo? Hi guys. Okay, so that's really what came to my mind about this death thing. It's weird to think, and we should be having this conversation. We should be open to conversations like this. It's not cringe. It's not something you should be shying away from. It's important that we talk about it. We'll talk about what we understand, because death is kind of a topic that people tend to shy away from, because they feel like if they talk about it, they're inviting it to themselves. But the fact is that we're all going to die someday. We're all going to die. The only difference is time and the method we're going to die. Whether we die in our sleep, whether we die on our way to the store, whether by accident, whether by maybe a rocket fell on top of my roof. I don't know, but we're all going to die. But how we die matters, obviously. And what we were doing when we died matters. Who we're surrounded by when we die is also important. So these two stories, this Michael's story and this Rohit story in India, really caught my attention. So that's that. The next topic on my list before I go to bed, because I'm sleepy right now. It's almost 10 p.m. and I'm getting tired. You can show in my voice. But I thought to talk about this then so that I can, get myself used to talking on spaces, because I'm not a space person. I like to write more. So I'm trying to warm up to the idea of being live on spaces. But this other story is about a lady who came to the US, Elisa Lam. She died in a hotel in Florida. And this is really one that I have been thinking about it. And let me even just say right off the back, anytime you search about the story of Elisa Lam, there's this desperation to call it a mental health issue. People are so quick to dismiss it as a mental health case. They say, oh, you know, she had a mental health issue. She was this, she was using the wrong drugs. She had an episode. She was hallucinating, and boom, they shut it down. Like, nobody ever wants to ever talk about possibility of any alternative issue surrounding the way this woman died. I don't know if some of you have seen the video. I narrated that story about 2 years ago as well. So in this video, the video that made it to the public though was a video of a young woman walking into an elevator, and then she ran into an elevator, and then she peeped out as if something was chasing her, right? As if she was trying to avoid somebody or something. So she peeps, and then she ducks in, she pushes the button, then she checks again, as if she was hiding from something. But we never got to see what or who she was hiding from in the frame. Like, you can definitely see the elevator. The camera of the elevator was on this angle, looking down on her, and you could see see her, and you could see the door of the elevator. But we never got to see who she was running away from. So in less than a minute, she runs out again. Like, she looks, and then she runs out, and that was the last time anyone ever saw her alive. That clip is disturbing. So I mean, I think there's a Netflix documentary about this incident. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, you can search Elisa Lam. Let me find out which hotel. Something Cecile, Hotel Cecile. That's the name of the hotel. So if you search Hotel Cecile or Elisa Lam, you'll definitely find this story on Netflix. It was it was a well-told story. It's very disturbing. So when she ran out of the elevator, that was it. Nobody ever saw her again. Nobody ever heard from her. Hotel management, everybody, nobody ever saw this woman. She never checked out, right? She never checked out. Her property, everything was still in the room that she reserved. About 3 days later, people were starting to complain about the smell coming out from the water, like shower water from the tank. People were complaining about the smell and the taste. So they called their, maintenance team. Maintenance team went up, and there they were looking, they were obviously going to check the water. They didn't even know there was someone in there. They're just going to check the water because the water tank is so way high up and it's locked. So they climbed this ladder. There, this girl was face down in the water. Now, what is very terrifying about this story is the fact that she's small. She's not big. She's a small lady. How did she get up there? Think about what happened the last time she was seen on camera. She ran out of the elevator. It was as if someone was chasing her. We didn't see who. We didn't see what. But she ran out of the elevator, and then that was it. The next thing, she was found dead in a water tank. How did she get up there? And this water tank is always locked. According to the hotel, they say it's always locked. So how did she run out, go all the way to the roof, climb into the water tank? Why would she go there? So you see, people say that this woman is she has some mental health problems, and doesn't all paranormal cases look like mental health problems? Does it not look that way? Tell me one paranormal case that doesn't look like a mental health problem. If someone says they're seeing things, wouldn't you think they're losing their minds? If someone said that they see a ghost, and you can't see this ghost around them, you obviously feel like they're crazy. You would think that they have mental health problems. If you see someone talking to themselves on the street, talking to themselves, and you cannot see who they're talking to, or maybe they look like they're conversing with somebody, but you cannot see who they're conversing with, wouldn't you say that they're losing their mind? So why is it so difficult for people to think that Elisa Lam's case could have been different? It could have been something else. It doesn't necessarily have to fit the way we expect things to be? Is there really a case that is not divided into reality or mental illness? So this woman died, and to date nobody knows how she died. They said she was on medication, she was hallucinating, she was this, she was that. So practically whatever she was hallucinating was what she was running away from. That's what she ran into the elevator from, right? That's really what was chasing her. That's what led her to climb all the way to the water tank. She didn't do it anywhere else. It had to be in that hotel, right? I mean, she brought herself to the hotel. Could it be that it's possible? Like I always say, two truths can exist. It's possible that she had mental health problems. It's also possible that something in that hotel, something disturbing, triggered her to behave in that manner. Do you understand what I'm saying? Something triggered her. For example, Cecil Hotel is known for, people have gone there to commit suicide. This is not the first time something's happened in that hotel. You know, people have gone there to commit suicide. People have gone there and were found dead. So there's obviously traces of something haunting, something creepy happening in the hotel. So just because Elisa Lam went there and was found dead in a water tank, that doesn't dismiss the fact that perhaps something happened, something did happen to her. And because it was made to seem like a mental health problem, boom, nobody wanted to talk about it. Everybody, every time, she was this, she was that, she took drugs, and that's it. People just shut. If you bring up that story right now, people will shut you up. If you go on a public forum where they talk about these mysterious cases, they will shut you up. This evening while I was researching, I came across it on Reddit. Somebody posted it to talk about it, just like I'm talking about it. And they're like, oh, no, why are you talking about it? Oh, this story is an open and case. That was it. Why are people in a hurry to dismiss this kind of issues? Why are you in a hurry to dismiss stories? What would it cost you to believe that just maybe, it's possible that something paranormal is happening? Let me tell you about this Cecil Hotel so that you understand why I am probably the only person, I'm the only person in America who believes that that girl did not just die naturally. I believe something happened to her. Boom. So here are a list of incidents that happened in that hotel. In 1927, somebody named Percy Ormond, 52 years old, committed suicide, gunshot to the head in that hotel. So Percy Ormond stated in a letter addressed to the press that he was driven to suicide because of his separation from his wife and family. He added that he deliberated it for a week before he killed himself. So he just went there and ended it all. Number 2, in 1931, 46-year-old guy committed suicide in that same hotel. In that same hotel. He was found dead in his room after ingesting poison capsules. So a week prior, he had checked into the Cecil under the name James Willis from Chicago. Do you see that? Then in 1932, Benjamin Dudley, 25 years old, same thing, same suicide. Another person. So there are over 11 incidents from this same hotel, or more than 11. From the same hotel. People dead, people. In fact, if you watch American Horror Stories, there's a series of American Horror Stories called Hotel, I believe, with Lady Gaga. It was about that same hotel. That was what inspired that episode, that season in American Horror Stories. So Elisa Lam's case happened in 2013, and she was just 21 years old. Right? So are you telling me that there's nothing supernatural, there's nothing paranormal, there's nothing going on here with this young woman? It was just mental health issue. Let's just call it bomb. How many hotels do you hear of with this long list of unfortunate death, tragic deaths? People just go there to die. That's really what it is. People just go there to die. It's like a suicide hotel. Elisa Lam just packed her bags and just went there to die. Somebody went there and shot themselves. Somebody went there and hung themselves. Somebody went there and committed suicide. All these crazy incidents, and you don't think that it's possible that there's something with bad omen in this hotel. That's really what I'm saying. That's what I am saying. So no, it's not natural. I don't believe that she died of any incident. So we're still on that topic of death and just what it is. How just random, unsuspecting, weird, strange death. Just like that. So that's it for Elisa Lam's story. All right, guys. I've been here for an hour. It's time for me to sleep. I'm glad I got to share this. I don't know who's listening. I see people coming and going. I don't know. Hi, Ugochukwu. Hello. Good to have you in. It's just probably you and I tonight. But I've been narrating for a while now. So I'll do this again, hopefully this week. I'll come back again so we can talk about more of this. As you know, I narrate true crime, mysterious events, urban legends, all kinds of stories, history. I talk about these things. I usually make a video, but today I felt like doing a live. So maybe we'll do it again. Let's see how it goes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening and have yourself a good... And if anything comes to mind, you can still come back to my page and view those videos. You can still add your comment and let me know what you think about the whole process. Thank you and have a good night.